wanted to dance in multiple locations at the same time? Well, in today's video, we're going to see how we can do just that. We're going to create this effect where we separate ourselves from each of the locations and place ourselves in a new one using some cool transitions. This effect is really easy to do, so now let's jump into Filmora and see how we got this effect. I have here 3 dance videos that we're going to be placing in order. So I have numbered them 1, 2, 3. Bring in the first video onto the first track. Then bring in the same video but on the third track, leaving an empty track for another video. Bring number 2 and place it in between. Now we're going to double click on the top video and increase the scale. I also moved it a bit towards the right so that our second dancer is in frame. Then scroll down and lower the opacity so we can see the video underneath. Grab your playhead and look for where these 2 dancers are in a similar position. Something like this, where they are in a similar position. Deselect the video and then hit M on your keyboard. Then bring back the opacity for the top video. Now go to the effects menu, AI portrait, and add this human segmentation effect onto the top video. Let's hide the previous tracks. Double click on this video, go to effect, and work with these sliders until you're getting a nice cut out of your subject. You can feather out the selection using the second slider. Now bring back both of those tracks, and then select the second video, right click, speed, add freeze frame. Now move the freeze frame slider a bit towards the left so we have a few frames to work with before the marker. We can then get rid of the first half of the second video. Make sure that you use the same scaling numbers for the first video. So 116 for scale, 48 for position X. In the second video, go to the marker and make a cut. Then go to the effects menu and type in black so we can get a black and white filter. Place this directly onto this segment that we just made. So the video will be black and white right here. Right over here, we're going to double click on that same segment, go to the animation section, make a keyframe on the last position, and then go to the first frame of the video, use position X to completely move it out of frame. So the freeze frame will show up from the right, and then the video will no longer be in black and white. Right when this segment begins, we're going to double click on the top video, add a keyframe, and then move forward. Match it with the keyframe below and just scale it in, trying to get the dancers here to match the size and position of the dancers behind. After we did this, we're going to move into the long half of the second video and then reduce the freeze frame all the way. So it's only frozen here and then it's normal speed here. Then we want the dancers to kind of disappear. So after the second keyframe, move in towards the marker that you made, make a cut and get rid of this top video. Then we're going to add a simple fade out keyframe. Double click, go to animation and reduce the opacity to 0 so we no longer have the dancers when the freeze frame ends. And now we can bring in our third dancing video, place it above, leaving one space in between like we did right here. Double click on this third video, lower the opacity, and we're once again going to look for a frame where both of the dancers have a similar location. Something like this. Click away and hit M on the video so you know exactly where on the video this dance happens. Move back a few frames, right click and add another freeze frame. We can get rid of the first half. I'm just going to move this a bit to the side and create a space so that video number 3 is under video number 2. Bring it below and then match the markers that we made. Bring in video number 2 one more time. Bring the video at the start of the timeline and we're going to trim this top video, which is the same video as this one. We're going to trim video number 2 and then add the same human segmentation effect. Now the dancers are just dancing until we're ready to make another switch. Trim the freeze frame by grabbing this side and then match the marker right here. And then bring this video one floor up. So basically we have video number 2 on track number 2 and track number 4. We have video number 3 on track number 3. Select the marker, make a cut on video number 3. add the same black and white filter onto this section only. At the start of this freeze frame, we're going to double click. First, bring back the opacity. Go to animation, add a keyframe so that it's normal. And then right at the end of this freeze frame, we're going to match the position with video number 3. So this right here is video number 2. These faded ones are video number 3. Make sure to bring back the opacity for video number 3 as well. Now grab the freeze frame video, double click, add a keyframe at the start, move it backwards, and then use position X to move this completely out of frame. Since the video came from the right last time, we're going to make it come from the left. You can also choose up or down. I'm going to fade out the video using these same keyframes right over here. Right on the first marker of video number 2, we're going to right click and add a freeze frame. Then drag this guy back and match it with the previous frame. And of course, the keyframes that came with it. So our dancers are going to suddenly freeze, and then they're going to be brought into a new location, then faded out so our dancers can continue dancing in their new position. Do the same thing with the first video. Now you can adjust the length of your video by grabbing the longest footage, which is video number 3. It's now time to add some additional elements to our dance, but we first need to export our video. Now create a new project and bring in your exported footage. Let's first mark out the parts where we created these transitions. You can use your left and right arrow keys to move in frame by frame. Make your first marker and then another one at the end of this transition, right when the dancers from the first video disappear. So this was our first transition. Let's look for the second. Now select each of the markers, double click on your video, go to animation, add a keyframe, and another one at the end. In between these two keyframes, we're going to increase our scale. Increase it by 150. Then do this for our second transition. Now let's decorate this with some AI portrait effects. Go to the Effects menu, AI Portraits, scroll down to these effects where they're going to take your subjects and create cool elements on their side. End the effect on the last keyframe, and then we're going to add 2 more effects so that the entire video has some sort of styling. Just make sure to double click and increase the slider for multi-human. And now we're finished. And now your awesome dance moves are not limited to one location. Let's work together and create the same style.